Why am I so sleepy?
Welcome to a tiny little magical kingdom called Bithaca.
Oh, my begonias, there you are. We're so happy you came. All our adventures are for the young at heart. No matter what our age, this is our version of gnome gardening.
When I lay my head to slumber. Well, hey! Welcome back, y'all. It is awfully nice to see you again. To support my channel, subscribe and click the notification bell. YouTube will let you know when I release a new episode. Y'all know, magic is an interesting thing. It is literally in everything. And that is how the stone critters in Bithaca have come to life. Myths and legends are attracted here from around the world and beyond. And the adventures, well, they wait to be discovered. Today's adventure starts with Fairy Sarah. She takes care of the mine area and gets up every day to water the plants, shrubs, and trees. She trims whatever needs to be trimmed and then goes and checks on the mine. At the mine, she checks on everything to make sure that no one can get hurt. To her, she leads a very boring life. Sarah wipes the sweat from her brow as she turned to look out over the field below the mine and watched as everyone went about their day. As her lack of sleep began to catch up to her, she begins to feel herself being pulled somewhere and suddenly finds herself on a strange ship. Lately, she has been having some weird dreams that seem so real. It's like she's been teleported to somewhere she has never been before. She can see what's going on, but for some reason, no one can see or hear her. Each night as she returns in her dreams, she is able to explore more and more of this place. As she does, she keeps a mental note of each and every place she has been. This helps her when she returns the next night. It always starts off the same, with each dream she makes, further down the corridors and the passageways of the ship she goes. At least she thinks it's a ship. She don't see any water, so she's a bit confused. Where could she be?
Wait a minute. Wasn't I just outside taking care of my plants? Am I dreaming? Is this real? Where am I?
Sarah asked herself as she continued to explore.
Am I daydreaming? It seems so real.
Sarah suddenly said out loud and nearly startled herself awake, while at the same time in her dream she continued to walk around in the ship. Suddenly she came to a door. She looked for a way to open it. Suddenly it opened itself.
Oh, I want one of these.
Sarah said, completely impressed, and walked through. Sarah walked straight through and on out the other side, and into another corridor where she walks down. Sarah had to quickly jump out of the way of a really fast-moving critter coming straight at her. This is when she discovered that she could walk through walls, when she literally went through one. Once she came out on the other side, she found another corridor, so she began walking. Then she came to a sharp corner and came face to face with some very strange eyes. It suddenly seemed as if the creature could see her and this startled her, so she screamed. This in turn startled the creature, so it screamed.
Ah!
Upon realizing that the critter saw her, Sarah screamed.
Oh!
Why, all that screaming woke her up, back in her own home, in her own bed, to a familiar face. Misty Unicorn was so close to her that she could see her own reflection in Misty's eyeballs. Startled once again, Sarah screams again.
Oh!
Slightly alarmed at Sarah's reaction, but the well-composed Misty instantly turned and began to search the area for anything that may have bothered her friend, but was relieved when she found nothing. Sarah watched as Misty checked everywhere in the mine. Misty returned to Sarah and asked with concern,
Darling, are you okay?
She moved closer to examine Sarah's face.
You look tired, and when I first arrived, you seemed to sleep while standing. Not sure how you pulled that off. So I walked you over and put you in your bed, darling. Is something the matter?
Misty asked. Sarah climbs out of bed and begins to tell Misty everything.
Oh, Misty, I'm having the most interesting adventures in my dreams at night. But now they seem to be popping up when I'm wide awake as well. I'm not sleeping very soundly lately because of all my dreams.
Sarah continued, sounding still very tired.
Well, sweetie, maybe it's as simple as the dream world just trying to tell you something. But it's more likely that you are just overworked and in need of a good night's rest.
Misty informed.
Oh, Misty, it's like I'm in a great novel written just for me to solve. I seem to always find myself on a weird ship that's not in any water. I'm walking down hallway after hallway and going through some doors. On this dream, I even come across some critters, but no one could see or hear me. I had walked around by myself for so long at one point that when I rounded a corner and came face to face with one of these critters, I woke up startled to you staring at me.
Sarah said. Misty grew concerned because that dream sounded a little too real, and she thought she needed to inform the king, but she wasn't going to say anything just yet to Sarah.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Misty. I never asked if you needed me for something.
Sarah asked apologetically.
Oh, don't worry about that, sweetie. I was on my way up the mountain to ask Dax if him and Marcus would kindly refill my pond as it has gone a little low, when I saw you standing there and came to check on you.
Misty replied.
Aw, that's ever so sweet.
Exclaimed Sarah. The two continued to chat some more before Misty resumed her trek on up the mountain. Once Misty finished, she hurriedly opened up her portal to King Blaze to inform him of her concern. King Blaze listened to all that Misty had to say, and he too grew concerned for Sarah's safety.
Mister, my dear, I think someone is in Sarah's mind using telepathy, and that she has no idea or how much danger she might be in. I need to make sure she's okay. Care to join me?
The king asked. At this, Misty bowed her head to the king and opened a portal to the mine. They arrived to find Sarah fast asleep and already deep within her dream. As telepaths, both Misty and King Blaze made themselves comfortable to go into Sarah's dream. At first, they found themselves on a really large ship and was amazed at its size. They continued to search for Sarah down long corridors and passageways. As they did, they ran into some interesting critters who didn't seem to see them at all. At this point, their concern for Sarah only grew, because now they knew it was not just a telepathy problem, but a teleportation problem. They needed to find Sarah, and fast, as she thought she was just in a dream and nothing could happen to her. But both Misty and King Blaze knew better and knew just how much danger she could be in. Sarah, meanwhile, once again found herself walking down corridors and hallways. She was very determined to find that critter from her dreams. She wasn't quite paying attention as she was a little lost in her thoughts when she rounded the corner and literally ran into King Blaze, and they fell through the wall. As they did so, the king protected Sarah within his embrace.
Oh my!
Misty said as the two disappeared before her eyes. The pair landed on the other side with a hard thump, knocking the wind right out of them. Meanwhile, just on the other side of the wall, Misty began to search for a way to get to them. She came to what looked like a very crooked line going up the wall. When she stood in front of it, it suddenly opened. Misty walked through and found King Blaze and Sarah still on the floor, winded in an embrace. They must have landed pretty hard, she thought, and it looked like the king had took the brunt of the landing, trying to keep Sarah safe. King Blaze arose off the floor first and helped Sarah to her feet.
Well then, come along you two, and let's go home, shall we?
Misty said as she returned to the hallway to open her portal. King Blaze had took a hold of Sarah's hand and led her out towards Misty's portal. Sarah gently pulls her hand away from King Blaze, causing everyone to stop and turn towards her.
Sarah, dear, are you all right?
The king asked concernedly.
Your Majesty, I would very much like to stay and find that critter from my dreams. Who knows, it may even need my help. And I haven't been sleeping very well lately since all this dreaming started, and I would very much like to find a way to make it all stop.
Sarah pleaded with both of her friends. King Blaze and Misty agreed it would be best to find that critter.
But
The king emphasized the word.
you are to never leave my side. We stick together, and we never go through another wall.
The king continued. Everyone agreed and followed their king. King Blaze informed Sarah that she could have gotten stuck in the walls, and she was so thankful that they had come because she honestly thought she was just in a dream. They had been walking a while when they turned down a corridor. At the other end, Sarah spots the critter that had plagued her dreams. She instinctively began to walk towards it, but King Blaze grabbed her by the hand and shaking his head no. The king had no way of knowing if it was friendly or not, and thought it best to wait and see. But the critter came right up to them and introduced herself politely.
Well, hi, y'all. My name is Molly. I'm an alien, and I've been looking for a place to call home. But I want to apologize to Miss Sarah over there, because as a telepath, I'm sorry, darling, but I've been using your dreams to see your world. Most never seem to know that I'm there, but for some reason you did. And once I realized that you were getting upset, I truly wish to apologize. And once I realized that you could teleport too, I tried to get in touch with you, but every time I got close, you would disappear. Please forgive me and say we can be friends.
Molly asked with heartfelt sincerity.
Well, of course I forgive you, and I love making new friends. But now I have two problems. I now have two abilities I can't control.
Sarah said, kind of concerned for her safety now.
Not to worry, Sarah. Those of us who have the abilities will help you. I'm sure there was someone who wanted to come to Bithaca. Maybe she'll come and be your teacher.
King Blaze said, after getting the idea to offer Molly a home and a job.
Oh, Your Majesty, that would be so great. Will you come be my teacher, Molly?
Sarah asked very excitedly. Poor Molly was so speechless.
Well, Molly, would you like to come?
King Blaze asked of very stunned Molly. Molly was nearly brought to tears at the thought of finally having a home of her own, and with a supersized heart, she gladly accepted their offer.
Well then, let's all go home.
King Blaze said, and Misty opened her portal to home. And everyone went through. First went Sarah. Next went King Blaze himself. Then it was Molly's turn. And the last one through was Misty herself. The portal settled itself and then closed. However, what greeted everyone back in Bithaca was just Molly's head. The rest of her was invisible. Molly reassured everyone that her body was indeed there, but just couldn't be seen for some reason. King Blaze assured everyone that Bithaca's magic would find a way to fix this problem, but temporarily Molly would just be a floating head. Later that day, Sarah went home and slept for a very, very long time. It was sure nice spending some time with you. Y'all come on back for our next adventure. We'd love to see you. Until we meet again, be kind to one another. Bye now.
We sure do thank you all for tapping those buttons. Like, subscribe, and share.
May the magic of wonder always fill your heart.